So, in the previous class, we have talked about Graham-Scan algorithm. Now, in this class, we have to discuss another two algorithms for finding the convex hull, and that are uh, Jarvis-March algorithm and quick hull algorithm. So Jarvis-March algorithm is basically based on gift wrapping. आप लोग जानते ही होंगे कैसे गिफ्ट वगैरह देते हैं तो किस तरीके से पैक करते हैं, तो एक तरफ से स्टार्ट करते हैं और रैप करते हुए चले जाते हैं टेप वगैरह लगा के, एंड इन द एंड जहां से शुरू किया होता है वहीं पे पहुंच जाते हैं. देन you'll find that कि आपका गिफ्ट जो है पूरी तरह से रैप हो गया. राइट? Are you getting the point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So here Jarvis-March algorithm, this is the diagram I have used here to explain it. Let me close this. So what I have to do? Drag. Okay, fine. It's okay, no problem. So in Jarvis-March algorithm, uh, it is based on the polar angle concept. So you know already, those who are not in the previous class, for them, let me tell you, if you have a point like here r and theta, and this is the line, so this angle will be theta, and these are the polar coordinates. So this is polar angle, and this is the magnitude, I mean distance from origin, and I hope you all are aware, right?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
सर राइट मोस्ट में 3 डॉट के बाद एक है, उससे फुल स्क्रीन होती है सर. इससे हम लोग मोबाइल में देखने में दिक्कत होती है सर. सर उसके
Okay.
बगल में.
Here.
यस सर.
Okay,
थैंक्स
fine.
सर.
Okay, fine. Now it is visible.
Yes, sir.
So look at here. So polar angle concept is it is clear to everyone, right? It is clear to everyone. You have gone through with it in the coordinate geometry. So already aware, and this magnitude of x will be something, this one, x equal to r cos theta, and y equal to r sin theta, although it is not required, but those who are not aware, they can see it. Now Jarvis-March algorithm, the objective of Jarvis-March algorithm is once again to find the convex hull. So the objective of the algorithm is to find the convex hull. Convex hull. So can anybody define what is convex hull? Yes, anyone? Can anybody define?
This is a polygon formed by joining the given points in such a way that area of polygon is minimum and points are either on the polygon or inside the polygon.
Exactly. So that is the concept of convex polygon. So here convex hull will be like, the convex polygon, smallest area of the convex polygon for covering all the points. So you can define it like this way also. So it is based on the concept of gift wrapping. It is based on the concept of gift wrapping. Gift wrapping, or maybe sometimes we can say that package wrapping and all. And if we have some set of points like here q set of points, then the points which are will be on the will be the part of convex hull. We can represent them like CHQ. So of course, if Q is going to have n points, then definitely here CHQ is not going to have all n points, right? Are you getting the point? Some points will be inside the convex hull and some points will be on the boundary. So CHQ will give the number of points which will be on the boundary. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so here let's the number of points which are on the boundary, we can say that number of points are h. Yeah, maybe you can define it. H is the number of CHQ vertices, right? H is the number of CHQ vertices. CHQ vertices. Now, if we look at the time complexity of this algorithm, so it will be something like, let's here, time complexity. Time complexity of the algorithm will be something order of n into h. N into h. So here n is the number of points. Using the points you are going to find out the convex hull, and h are the points which will be the vertices of convex hull. Now, if it is observed that if h is equal to some order of log n, h is if h is equal to some order of log n, then it is found that this Jarvis algorithm, yeah, maybe we can write it like this. This algorithm is asymptotically faster than Graham-Scan algorithm. Graham-Scan algorithm. So let me. So this is the very introductory part of the algorithm, and we are going to. Right. So for implementing this algorithm, what we have to do? For implementing this algorithm, let me keep it visible. So, like we did in the Graham-Scan algorithm, here once again we have to select the lowest point. We have to select the lowest point, like, we can say that steps for finding the convex hull. So first what we have to do, we have to select the lowest point. So maybe you can have it like this, right? So this is your x-axis and this one is y-axis. Now you can see you have to select the lowest point. So in the very first step, you can see in the diagram you can see P naught is the lowest point, right? So let's select the lowest point P naught, lowest point P naught, and then after that what we have to do, we have to find out the next point which is having lowest polar angle with respect to P naught. We have to find out the next point which is having lowest polar angle with respect to P naught. So in the diagram you can see this is P naught, and the next point which is having lowest polar angle is P1, right? Is it P1?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So select the P1. So just join the line. So select the next point P1. So select the next maybe point or vertex, whatever you want, you can say next vertex P1 with smallest polar angle, smallest polar angle. Similarly, what you have to do, you have to repeat this step. So now select the next point which is having lowest polar angle with respect to P1. So in the previous step, what we did, we have selected a point which is having a smallest polar angle with respect to P naught. Now the next point with respect to P1, we have to select next point P2, which is having a smallest polar angle with respect to P1. So in the Graham scan algorithm, what we were doing, a reference point were, it was not being changed. It was same throughout the algorithm. But here in every step, we are changing the reference point. So first, P naught is used as a reference point, and we have selected P1. And then P1 is used as a reference point, we are selecting P2. So similarly, select the next point, select the next point P2, and so on till till we reach the highest vertex, till we reach the highest vertex let's pk. And one thing you have to remember, maybe you can encounter the situation like we are having 2 points which are having same polar angle. Then in that case you have to choose the farthest one. same concept, the one we have used in the Graham scan algorithm. So this, starting from P naught and reaching to the highest point, let's Pk. This is we call it. This is the formation of right chain. This is the formation of right chain, and it can be seen like this. So you started from here and reaching at this point here. If you have any doubt, you can ask. This is the formation of right x, and you can see this is positive x-axis, and if you are of course moving in the reverse direction, then it will be negative x-axis. So angles are measured from positive x-axis. Now, after choosing the highest point Pk, we have to look for the formation of left chain. So this particular portion, this is your right chain. Now what we have to do, we have to form the left chain, and after forming the left chain, we will be able to find out the convection. So in the next step, what we have to do, to construct the left chain, to construct the left chain, to construct the left chain, what we have to do, we have to choose next point Pk plus 1. Here highest point was Pk. Now we have to choose next point. Pk plus 1, which is having lowest polar angle with respect to negative x-axis. Choose next point Pk plus 1 with, let's smallest polar angle with respect to negative x-axis. And then after that, what you have to do, repeat the step till we reach the starting point. So what we have to do, similarly, choose the next point and so on until we come back to point P now. Until we come back to point P now. So this particular portion is forming the left chain, and these steps are for right chain. After forming the left chain and right chain, you can see your algorithm is control Z. I want to select this figure, but don't know why it is not working. So is it clear? Is it clear? If you have any doubt, you can ask. So in the end, after completing the steps, H are the number of points on the convex hull are H, and total number of points are N. Then we can say its time complexity will be order of N H, and if H is equal to something, order of log N, then we can say that its time complexity will be order of N log.
Sir, what is H here?
H is the number of points on the convex hull. For example, in the diagram, you can see, suppose that total number of points are N, right? Counting, P0, P1, P2, P3, and P4, and the points which are inside. And now H is the points which are the part of convex. So these are the points, and you can see H is the set of points which are on the convex hull. So the meaning behind saying that when H is equal to log N, so that means if we are having the N points and only log N points are going to be the part of the convex hull, then in that case, it is found that this Jarvis algorithm is asymptotically faster than Graham-Scan algorithm. Although you have seen Graham-Scan algorithm's complexity is also order of n log n, right? Then what is the meaning of this algorithm is asymptotically faster than Graham-Scan algorithm? Can anybody tell what is the meaning of it?
Sir, there are few more terms which we ignored because they are comparatively less than n log n in the time complexity of Graham-Scan. But in this case, there is only n log n.
Can you repeat? I'm not getting your point actually. What?
Okay, sir, what I am trying to say that in Graham-Scan algorithm, the time complexity is n log n plus there are some more terms in there.
Maybe, yeah, that are the factor. But asymptotically tight means, I'll take the class on time complexity also. Then I will explain. something like, you can think like, suppose that these are the two boundaries. These are the two boundaries, and let me choose another different color. Uh, Suppose that it is something like this, and let's choose another one, maybe this color, and it is also something like this, but somewhere, touching the upper boundary. So here, can you tell me, this is 1 and this is 2, which one is asymptotically tight?
Two.
Answer one.
Yes, asymptotically tight. One is asymptotically tight, right? So maybe both the algorithms, like, here we can say that this is the complexity of Graham scan algorithm, and 2 is indicating the complexity of Jarvis algorithm.
Or it will be inverse.
Jarvis algorithm. So you can see, uh, 2 is asymptotically faster than Graham scan algorithm. Although when we are going to write down its time complexity, then it will be order of n log n, right? So this is the meaning of, uh, being asymptotically faster than Graham scan algorithm. And of course, responsible factors are, who was answering? I think it was Nilesh. Nilesh?
Yes, sir.
Actually, who was answering just before?
Gaurav. Gaurav
Gaurav,
was
Gaurav. So Gaurav is right. Responsible factor are, you can see. So this is the meaning of why we
Sir,
are saying that.
sir, but I am trying to say that in Graham scam algorithm, the complexity is n log n, order of n log n, and I am subtracting some more term minus 3 log n
Yes, I
in that
got it,
case.
got it. And same thing I have told also. So that is the meaning, right?
So the
Now,
second one will be the Graham scam, and first one will be Jarvis algorithm. The upper side will be Jarvis, and the lower side will be Graham scam.
why?
Because if let's suppose n log n is the upper side, if we subtract something, then it will become lower of that.
So Jarvis is asymptotically faster, na?
So if Jarvis is faster, then it should be the
So that
upper.
means its time complexity will be low.
Okay, okay. Yes, yes, sir. Okay, on that. Now I
Okay, okay,
understood.
okay, fine. Now we have to discuss another algorithm, that is quick hull algorithm. So quick hull algorithm is basically based on the concept of divide and conquer approach. Let me drag it down. This algorithm is based on divide and conquer approach. I hope everyone is uh, having the concept of divide and conquer approach. You are aware. This is our divide and uh, quick hull algorithm. Quick hull algorithm based on divide and conquer approach. Divide and conquer concept is clear to everyone, right? If you have any doubt, you can ask. So this is based on divide and conquer approach. So if we look at the let's recursive steps of this divide and conquer approach, so you can write something like, you know, let's Tn is equal to a t n by b plus here Cn and plus Dn. Cn plus Dn. So Cn is the, let's, cost of combining, and Dn is the cost of dividing. Dn is the cost of dividing, right? And if we write this algorithm for quicksort, then we write it like Tn is equal to 2t n by 2 plus something, you know, Cn, or maybe we can say that order of n. So can anybody tell what is the meaning of this order of n? If we are talking about divide and conquer quicksort algorithm, then what will be the value of Cn? Just 1 minute. And what will be the value of Dn? Value of Cn and value of Dn. Can anybody tell? And of course, Cn and plus Dn, it is going to be order of n. So for quicksort, any guess?
सर क्विक सॉर्ट या मर्ज सॉर्ट?
I'm talking about quicksort. Okay, fine, no problem. So, you know, in quicksort, I will explain it later, but in quicksort, there is no combining cost. So maybe you can consider as constant, and dividing cost will be something order of n, maybe you can say Cn. So that is the, you know, contribution of combining and dividing, and overall it is indicated as order of n. I will explain it while explaining the what I have to do. While explaining the complexity part, so in this algorithm, what we have to do in this quick hull algorithm, we have to choose 2 points first, which are having, you know, least and max, let's min and max value of x. In the diagram, you can see in the diagram, x-axis and y-axis are indicated, and if you want to choose the min and max value of the points, I mean, you are going to choose the points which are having min and max value of x. So you can see in the diagram, it is indicated with the points A and B. So here this one is indicated as having, let's, min x value, and this one is indicated as max x value. मैं
Sir, the points which are nearer to where it is written S1, that have the minimum X value.
okay, so maybe you can choose this one, but in this diagram it is shown like initially when we are going to S1 is indicating, not indicating the point, actually S1 is indicating the region, right? S2 is indicating the region. If you think like this point is let's having uh, lowest x coordinate, then you can choose this one, and then in that case this line will be something like this, right? This line will be something like this.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise what we can do, if you rotate this diagram little bit clockwise, in the clockwise direction, then you will see that this is the lowest point.
Yes, sir.
Are you getting the points?
Yes,
So
sir.
maybe you can consider whatever I am discussing, you can consider it like this. It is just for understanding point of view. So for writing the algorithm, I mean for understanding the concept of this algorithm, what we have to do, we have to follow the step like first finding the points which are having lowest x coordinate and highest x coordinate. So that points are A and B, right? So if you are going to write the algorithm, so maybe you can write it like quick hull, and here pass the number of points, maybe S or maybe Q, whatever you are let's using as notation, you can pass it like that. And then after that let's take a variable which will contain the set of points which are going to be the part of convection. So maybe simply you can write, let's ch, simply write ch, and it is going to contain the points. So initially there will be no points in it, and then after that what we have to do, first find the leftmost and rightmost point in the leftmost point and rightmost points. So first find the left and rightmost points, rightmost points rightmost point. So leftmost point is A and rightmost point is B. And then what we have to do, we have to join these points. So this line AB, maybe let's say small a, small b, this line AB divides the remaining points. That means how many points? N minus 2 points. Because we have considered 2 points already, A and B. So this line AB divides the remaining N minus 2 points. So AB divides the N minus 2 points into two parts, right? And then after that we have to select the regions, like initially there was no C point here, we were having the A and B only, so there will be two regions. One is maybe here, we can say that P, and another one is Q. So if we are facing from A to B, so P is in the right side, right? Left side, in fact. So B to A, then P is in the right side, and then A to B, Q is in the right side. So here in this algorithm, in this quick hull algorithm, we are going to use the right side term, right side of the points, which are right side of the line. And then after that, in the third step, what we have to do, we have to pass the points and the selected points. So here we have to pass the set of points and selected points. So find, this is another function, we call it find hull. Quick hull is a function, I mean algorithm, which is, in which we are passing the set of points s. Now here find hull is another function in which we are going to pass the set of points which are right side the line. Let's, here it will be maybe s1 and the points which are a and b. So in that case, of course, s1 is going to be this one. And then we have to call the function for this part also, because we are going to call the find hull for this part. We have to call the find hull function for this part also. So here, let's find hull, and maybe we can call it s2. So here s2 b comma a, because if you are facing towards a, standing at b, then s2 will be in the right side. So this is the quick hull algorithm. And what we have to do, we have to define the find hull also. We have to define the find hull. So find hull of course it will take the parameters like this one, the one we have defined in I mean the number of parameters which are find hull called function s1ab and s2ba. So here let's sk indicates it will take the set of points s1 and s2. It is clear to everyone, I hope. S1 is containing the set of points which are right side of line AB, and s2 is the set of points which are right side of the line BA. And A and B itself, these are the points. Now here in the find hull, sk will take the s1 and s2, whatever the function will be called. Sk will contain the set of points, and ab maybe will considered as pq. So it will come into the pq, and then after that what we have to do, we have to choose the farthest point with respect to these lines. So of course, if we are going to talk about this S1AB, so we have to choose the farthest point in the right side of AB. So right side of AB is this one, and maybe you can think like this one is the farthest point. So you have to join like this. And similarly, when you are going to call the S2BA, so C is indicated here. This is going to be the farthest point. So so what we have to do, we have to choose these farthest points, and recursively we have to call the functions again. Which function? Find hull. We have to recursively call the functions again. And it is also possible that why it is.
Sir, both point A and point B will be taken as a reference in order to find the farthest point.
Yes, actually AB line will be taken as a reference line, because for finding the farthest point, you can see the one which is, having the highest distance from this line, right?
Yes, sir.
So AB are the indicating the points, and A and B are the points, and AB is a line. AB is a line, and if you are going to choose the farthest point, so of course you have to calculate the distance from AB. Distance from AB. Now, in the very first step, it might be possible that your SK is having no point. Consider the scenario. Consider a scenario like, suppose that the these are the points, these are the points, and you have chosen the uh, least value of x and highest value of x. So here it will be A and this one will be B. Now in this division, you can see in this region there is no point. There is no point. So it is also possible, although this the upper diagram is very general diagram. It is covering the the cases like points are in the both sides, but this is also possible. When we are encountering this situation, then what we have to do, if we have to write like, if SK has no point, if SK has no point, then simply return. No point, then return. So return to whom? जहां पे फंक्शन को कॉल किया. Else what we have to do, find the farthest point. Else find the farthest point let's give the name to the point. Let's point C, farthest point C, from line, which line? PQ. From this line PQ. So of course, we are passed here A and B, so it will become P and Q. And after choosing the point C, add this point into the convex hull. Add C into CH. And you have to write one more step to add these points AB into CH. So maybe you can write here like, add AB into CH after choosing the min and max value of this coordinate A and B. You have to add these points AB into the CH. Now here add C into the CH. So 3 points are added. Now when we are going to call another function S2BA, so maybe in this side, a point has been will be chosen, and it will be let's another point, maybe we can say that D. So it will be added into the CH, and will repeat the step. So here let's look at the scenario for further division of P, Q, and C. So let's come down. In the third step, we will be having the 3 points P, Q, and C. partition the remaining points into three subsets. So let me tell you, this is your P and this is your Q as had been chosen in the diagram, and this is your point C. So okay, add this one and this one. So what it is going to do, it is going to divide the uh, points into three parts, three regions. And this is, we can say that S1, S0, and this is S1, and this is S2. This is S2. So of course S0 is not going to be meaningful for us because it is inside the already chosen points. So of course the point which is inside the boundary, it is not going to be the part of this convex hull. So S1 and S2 are the meaningful for S. So S1 is the right side of CP. S1 is the right side of CP, and S2 is the right side of QC. S2 is the right side of QC. So what we have to do in these 3 points, S0, S1 and S2, we have to call the find hull function once again. And how it will be called? Find hull for S1, because S0 is meaningless because it is inside the boundary, and of course some steps are involved here to check whether S0 is inside or not. And then after that call S1 and the line CP, line CP, so it will cover this region. And now find hull S2 QC, because QC S2 will be in the right side of QC. S2 will be in the right side of QC. Otherwise, we can write the CQ also. If you are going to use the left convention, then it will be the CQ. And in case of right convention, it is QC. So in whole algorithm, in quick hull algorithm, we are going to use the right, choosing the point in the right side. So that's why it is written S1 CP and S2 QC. And these steps will repeated till SK has no point. And in the end you will find that all the divisions, whatever the division we are going to perform, it will not have any point in the right side, and then that will be the termination of the algorithm. And the after termination, whatever the point you will have in your CH, it will be the output. And we can say that it will represent the convex hull. And of course, it is based on the division concept. So if we are assuming that every time we are going to divide the points in equal half, half of the points in the left side and half of points in the right side, then we can write the recurrence relation for it like 2tn by 2 plus order of n. This is the dividing cost. So in this case, time complexity will be something order of n log n. Is it clear? Is it
Yes,
clear?
sir.
Yes, sir.
If you people have any doubt, you can ask. Yes, any doubt?
Sir, if S1, S2 has no points, then it is necessary to pass it as a parameter.
How you'll decide that there is no point? Either you have to check before passing, and if you are going to pass it, then it will be checked there. If sk is null, then it will return, simply return. So that means there is no further step.
Yes.
Right? And now
Yes.
let's look at another scenario. It is pertinent to discuss here. When we are having the scenario like this is the line AB, this is the line AB. Suppose that this is there is no point in this side, and Control Z. Now there are n points. There are n points, and after choosing the 2 points, remaining points will be n minus 2. And in this division, all the remaining points are going to be the part of this side. There is no point in this side. Then saying that this quick hell algorithm is going to have the recurrence relation like this is not a good idea, because this division is not going to be the in equal half. Then what will be the case? Then what will be the case? In that case, we can write it like maybe Tn minus 1 plus T1 and plus order of n. Assuming that, maybe in every division, one side containing either, no point or maybe 1 point, and rest of the points are going to be the other side. Worst case scenario. So in this case, it will become like your recurrence relation will become like Tn minus 1 plus order of n. And what will be the time complexity for this recurrence relation? Anyone?
Order
What
of
will
n?
be the time? Yes, anybody? What will be the time complexity for this recurrence relation?
Order of n square.
Order of n square. Order of n square. Why order of n square? Because for t of 1, you can consider it 1, then it will be something like n, and then for it will become n minus 1 and plus n minus 2, something like this, and till 1. And if you are going to do the summation, then it will become n into n plus 1 by 2, something order of n square. Induction method, you can apply the induction method, you will find that its summation will be something like this. And then if you are going to generalize the time complexity in terms of higher order term, then it will be order of n. So here apply the induction method. Those who are saying that order of n, they have to think about the induction method. So this is all about Jarvis algorithm and Quick-Hull algorithm. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Related to time complexity, related to working of the algorithm, anything. Otherwise, we'll wind up the session here only.
Sir, हेलो सर.
Yes, please. Audible.
सर मुझे अभी भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि हमने जो वर्टिसेस h की वैल्यू ऑर्डर ऑफ log n क्यों ली है, बिकॉज अगर हम एक
In Jarvis algorithm, are you talking about Jarvis algorithm? we have not taken as log n. इसमें बिल्कुल इस तरीके से देख लो कि अगर इतने ही नोड इसके कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं तो इट इज अ स्पेशल केस. इट इज नॉट लाइक कि हमने उतना लिया है, क्योंकि जब पॉइंट्स तुम चूज करोगी तो हो सकता है कि उसमें सारे पॉइंट्स आ जाएं. लेट मी कंसीडर अ सिनारियो. Suppose
We are
that
choosing n log n because we want to compare it with the previous algorithm, Graham-Scan algorithm.
maybe you can say it like this also. If it is going to take the order of log n points, then we can say that it will perform better than Graham-Scan algorithm. Otherwise, it will not perform, because maybe let's take a scenario. Take a scenario. In this case, if you are going to form the convex hull, then we have to consider all the points. All the points. How many points are 6? So what will be the value of h here? 6. So that means there are n points and all the n points are chosen. Then what will be the complexity of this Jarvis algorithm? It will be order of n square. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Your voice is not coming. Okay, fine.
Yes. सर तो यहाँ पे जैसे कि मिनिमम वैल्यू अगर हम बेस्ट केस लेते हैं तो हमारे पास 3 वैल्यूज होंगे. लाइक कॉन्वेक्स हल जो होगा वो हमारा मिनिमम अगर पॉइंट्स लेंगे तो वो एक ट्रायंगल क्रिएट कर सकता है, और मैक्सिमम होगा तो वो एन पूरे के पूरे पॉइंट्स लेगा. बट जो हमने यहाँ लॉगिन लिया है वो एक स्पेशल कंडीशन है फॉर दिस
Yeah, special condition that if we are going to form the convex hull by using the log n points, then its time complexity will be better than Graham-Scan algorithm. And of course, if you are going to lesser points than log n, I mean, suppose that for forming the convex hull, it is containing the 8 number of points, and you are going to use only 3 points, and log 8 is unfortunately it is 3. Okay, maybe 16 points are there. 16 points are there, and log value is 4, but you are using only 3 points to form the convex hull. Then you can see you are not going to choose even log n points. Even log n points, even it is lesser than log n. Then in that case also it is going to be better than Graham-Scan algorithm.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is the logic behind Graham-Scan algorithm and quick hull. I mean Jarvis algorithm and quick hull algorithm. And of course you can see in Jarvis in Graham-Scan algorithm, computation steps are little bit high, as someone was stating, and you can read the algorithm. But here slightly lower than Graham-Scan algorithm, because avoiding the unnecessary steps, moving point wise. I mean reference point is being changed every time, but in the Graham-Scan algorithm reference point was same. So we were having the more computation steps in Graham-Scan algorithm in comparison to this Jarvis algorithm. But of course, when we are going to consider the worst case scenario of this Jarvis algorithm, so maybe it will be having higher complexity than Graham-Scan algorithm. So this is just a special case. If it is going to take the log n points on the boundary of let's in the form of vertices of convex hull, then its time complexity going to be asymptotically smaller than Graham-Scan algorithm. So I hope it is clear to all of you that Graham-Scan algorithm, Jarvis algorithm, and Pickhall algorithm. So we have discussed three algorithms here. First one is Graham Scan algorithm, and then Jarvis algorithm. We call it Jarvis March algorithm. Jarvis March and Pickhall algorithm. So we have seen that its time complexity is something order of log n, L log n, and in this case it can be order of log n, or maybe it can be order of n square also. And similarly here in Pickhall, it will be order of n log n average case, and in worst case it is also going to be order of n square. So this is all about the convex hull. Right?
Sir, can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Sir, I just want to ask you that in the Jarvis algorithm, what we are calculating is the polar angle every time. But in Quick Hull, we are calculating the distance of all the points from the line.
Yes.
So why do we don't talk about the complexity of calculating those things? In one case, we have to calculate the angles, which is easy. That will not change for every point. But in case of Quick Hull, every time the distance from the difference line, the distance from the different point will be changed. So why we don't talk about those complexity?
Those complexity, that's when calculating the distance.
Right, sir.
So calculating the distance, it is going to contribute the linear cost. If you are going to compute the time complexity, something, let's for one point, or maybe how it is going to compute order of n log n. Can you think about it? N is very simple, all the n points.
The term order of n which we have taken for the same, for the distance.
And where log n is coming, from where log n is coming? Just try to think, and then if you are not able to think, I will discuss again. Okay, so for today's class, I'm going to wind up here only, because it is already 10:15, and actually I have some assignment to do, so I have to go there. And in case if you people are not able to realize that how we are going to have the complexity of this quick hull algorithm is order of n log n, then I will discuss it again.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine.
Thank
you. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.